Smells Like Teen Spirit. There's no doubt that once Nirvana became popular, the music industry all traveled to Seattle and tried to sign everybody who wore flannel shirts. And anybody who was blonde and blue-eyed and could sing and look good in a video.
I think a band like Nirvana, and the reason why that, hit like a tidal wave across the nation, across the world, was there was something alive about it. You heard it, like as soon as you hit play and you heard that, all of a sudden you were like, yeah, someone is doing something that we're feeling, that we cannot articulate, that we cannot quantify. They did it, and every single 16-year-old kid in our high school went out and bought that tape, and it was it was probably one of the most beautiful, most important things that's ever happened that I've witnessed, where everyone's like, this is what we are. This is who we're putting, like, we're backing this, Mm-hmm. Rock is about grabbing something and,
When Nirvana came out and stuff like that, there wasn't so much them dealing with any major issues. Like the Beastie Boys or something like that talked about serious issues and Rage Against the Machine, but Nirvana was just kind of rebelling against, like
being a kid, about
what being a kid at that point was, which was like
just angry.
Yeah, but everybody else was into Guns N' Roses and Poison and classic rock and like TNA and Nirvana didn't want bling, and they didn't like the kind of like that glam rock era was kind of like it was all about just making money and partying, and there was nothing serious about it. And Nirvana was like, this is all stupid, like we're rebelling against that attitude.
Nirvana somewhat needed to have all those hair bands and the metal hard rock band that they were so-called rallying against in order to exist in the first place.
So it wasn't a really major issue that they were rebelling against. So it's been a long time, since probably the 60s or 70s, where people really made music in protest.
But
Rage Against the Machine, though, is an exception to that.
Music was changing a lot, too, when Union came out, and grunge was getting very popular and taking over. So I'm not sure if people knew what era and what we belonged in, you know what I mean?
I mean, unbelievable. The second album is, it's just genius. It's like Eat a Peach. It's one of those albums that's just like Sgt. Pepper or whatever. It's just perfect. I mean, I don't know what happened to the guy, how he could create that sound and that music and that attitude, and flannel shirts and jeans. That's it.
In your opinion, why was Smells Like Teen Spirit so successful?
The record, Smells Like, was a great song, and as I said, spoke to a great audience at the right time. But it had a very distinct video presence that made it very talkable, and people reacted to it, and it shot up the charts and radio played it. So I think the combination of a great video presence, a good record with the right message at the right time, and a charismatic front person in Kurt at that time, who was veiled in some mystery, but every once in a while you'd see a picture of him smiling and he looked nice, and so there was, again, that story that was larger than the music of this character who was driving the music, but had flaws, had positives, and was trying to get his life together. And there was nobody else at that time who was driving that much press in the music industry. And again, the video stood really strong. So I think it was impacted by all those 3 or 4 pieces that put it together to be a classic.
This is the very famous Kurt photo, right?
Yeah, so this is Kurt on his shoulders at the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver, and I mean, when I took this shot, I knew there was something there. I had that moment, that like tingle up the spine, but then you just keep going, and then. But when I went to develop the film, I went straight. I knew that there was something there. So he did a somersault essentially.
What did he think of the photo?
Well, they liked it enough. They put it on the back of the Smells Like Teen Spirit single. So
really,
yeah.
So when Smells Like Teen Spirit hit big, how did that affect Nirvana and by extension the scene here?
Well, I mean, it just brought in a lot of work and. Some heartache, of course. And, we were in our 20s. It just kind of kept chugging along. I mean, Nirvana were out of town. The band started being out of town a lot more.
Did you guys realize it was something special when it blew up, or not till later on?
Well, I mean, we knew there was something going on, but we just figured it would just collapse at any minute, or, years from now, it would just be, a few record collectors that would remember it all. But
really,
I just didn't understand that it would have some sort of longevity or fit in with the history of music.
When you're taking these photos, do you ever stop to think, wow, this is a special moment? Or do you not think that when you're shooting?
When you're in the middle of shooting, you often have a sense that this was a great moment. Of course, in the film days, it could take you a day or a week or whatever to find out if that was true, even if your lighting was right. Now you kind of have instant gratification. That's Reading Festival, yeah. Soundgarden. There's Kurt, Everett True, Chris and Bruce on the street. I think that Nirvana connected to me on a real emotional level. I look back at some of the pictures I've took. It was a real emotional release, and I think Kurt and I shared some of the same experiences of dysfunctional family growing up and divorce and chronic pain.
Did you guys ever talk about that stuff?
We talked a little bit about it. There were connections there, and I think that's the lasting what is lasting about Kurt and his legacy is that emotional connection. It isn't just the music. So I still have some darkroom prints. These were all made in a traditional darkroom here.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. But now it's primarily digital prints.
Where was this famous shot of yours taken, by the way? Which club was this?
This was at the University of Washington Hub Ballroom, which is on campus at the UW.
And this was a Nirvana gig?
Yeah, this was Nirvana and...
Turn this off.
Fluid, I think.
Hey, thanks for watching. My name is Daniel Sarkissian. I'm an independent filmmaker from Toronto.